You're gonna see this thing's gonna come out like a bullet. What you wanna do, watch closely. That's brake fluid in the mouth. What's up, Buck? Doug with D&E in the garage. Today we're talking about calipers. So here's the story. My WJ keeps locking up calipers. The reason is because I drive it once every 2 months. I take it mudding, I bring it home, I don't wash it, and I just let it sit for another 2 months. So that mud, the blood, and the beer just sits on in the calipers there, keeps locking them up. So then when I do want to run it, I can't because the calipers are locked up, so then it sits even longer. So for this reason, I'm not buying new calipers, right? I had these sitting in the D&E parts department, the good old wall of shame over there. These were on my Dana 44A when I got it from the junkyard. So yes, these are junkyard calipers. Oh, look at this. Uncle Jerry of the week. Hold on. So yes, these are junkyard calipers. So I guess what I'm getting at here today is, what do you have to do to junkyard calipers to make them worth a darn anymore? Look at that old brake fluid. That's terrible. How bad this brake fluid is should illustrate why you want to do something to your junkyard calipers. You don't want to just wing them on the Jeep and hope for the best. But I'm done. I'm not buying new brake calipers for that thing anymore. Willie has officially reached the age where he doesn't get new brake calipers anymore. Look at those pads, man. Those pads are cherry. I can't believe someone sent those to the junkyard. Look at all the meat left on them. Yeah, these are getting reused. Today, the first thing we want to do is strip it down. We're going to strip it down as far as we can. And what you're really trying to do is make sure that this piston is in decent shape. Now, if this boot right here is ripped, then it's a no-go. You either got to find another boot, which can be very difficult, or just pass on that brake caliper. Now, these are in good shape. These boots are fine, so I'm willing to put in the work to clean them up a little bit to, you know, get them on the heap there. Let's turn you guys around, get this thing in the vise. Go ahead and bust this nut off. Come on. Oh, jeez, crackers, it's amateur hour. I need to get my new bench built with a bigger, the bigger vise on there, but it's on the to-do list. You all know how that goes. There we go. Now, in reality, I probably could leave these on, but I know the ones on Willie are good, so I'll save these. But these, you better believe, are going to be spares too. Save these brake lines right there. It's so good to have spares, man. That's why I have the wall of shame over there. Because new parts are expensive and stuff always breaks 9:30 at night on a friggin' Saturday night, right? All right. Soft lines are taken off. We're gonna hold on to that in case the one on the Jeep is messed up, but I believe mine are in fine shape, so those are just gonna be spares. Copper washer, put that off to the side. Let's see if it wants to drain out anymore. Pretty much no. All right, now these are actually in really good shape, if I'm being honest. These guide pins are not rusty or crusty. Yeah, man, those things look like they're in great shape, which is a treat. I was kind of expecting them to be all jacked up and awesome. Now, Eric has some really great brake grease that he uses on stuff like this. I'm going to be using anti-seize. I don't want to hear it from anybody. I don't care. All right, our next step, now that we've got this put aside, is going to be to eject this piston so that we can inspect the seal and make sure that maybe clean off the piston a little bit. What you want to do is find some way to make an air compressor fitting seal against this hole in the back right there. Now I don't have one of those rubber tip ones, so this is just electrical tape wrapped all around this thing. Plug my very leaky air hose in. Oh, another thing, you're going to want to put a piece of wood here. You don't want this thing flying out all the way because you could rip the seal. So you want to put a piece of wood. This is like, what, a 1-inch piece of wood. For this, medium-sized piston, that's probably a good idea. You're going to see this thing's going to come out like a bullet. You don't want it just flying across the room because now you've ruined potentially this caliper. Okay, hold up. Leaky air hose engaged. Alrighty. Kind of one of those things you're going to wish you had 3 hands for. Watch closely. There it is. See? That's all it takes. Disconnect this guy. Now, what we're looking for. Oh, I'm going to pull this one apart just to show you. You want to make sure that the area all around here is not rusty or scored or overly dirty. This one's actually in really good shape. Now we're going to take a look at this seal here. you're going to want to see if this looks ripped. This, again, looks like it's in great shape. I'm going to use some silicone to put it back. You're looking for rips, you're looking for tears, you're looking for excessive dirt. Anything that's going to keep this from remaining a sealed system once you have it on the Jeep, pressurized with fluid in there. All right. Now, ideally, you don't really take this out, but this video is for science. I do this for you guys. So we're going to clean this guy up. All right. Now that this is in, we don't want to push the boot in with the thing. There's a rib right here that's going to fit in this ridge, so we're going to try to work it in like so. This boot is now seated inside that ring. We're good to compress this all the way. There we go. Perfect. I'm going to blow this out just a little bit because it doesn't need to be in that far. So I'm going to get a bigger block now, and let's just blow it out a little bit so that it'll seat everything. There we go. Not ripped. Oh, it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. Honestly, this is better than brand new because this is certified D&E pre-owned. Oh, I need this. I figured this out before. Like, I don't need this. I need this. All right. Now, let's put this caliper aside. If I was storing this again for a long time, I'd make sure this was back in, but it's going in the Jeep tomorrow. So we're just going to put that guy aside. I'm going to take this guy. Honestly, I'm going to clean him off just a little bit. It's in real good shape. Honestly, if I'd known these were in such good shape, I might not have even bothered with all this. I expected they were going to be all grody. Clean this off. You can inspect these, make sure they're not bent, make sure they're not scored. This is the part of the video where I get all the angry comments. I've been using anti-seize on brake parts as long as I've been putting stuff on brake parts. Get him a goo. Get him a gook. Get this in there. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. All nice and coated. What? There you go, man. This thing's ready. I took about 15 minutes of my time. And now I can be confident. Now, of course, you could always strip this down and paint it. I'm not that motivated. Willie's not that Jeep. Though, actually, he does have red calipers on him right now. I was that motivated at one point in my life. I'm just not anymore. These aren't super rusty, so, like, what's the point, you know? Oh, boy. I'm going to try to not use these, but I kind of feel like it's going to happen because I'm not going to the parts store tomorrow. All right. That's all there is to it. I'm going to clean up all this, and I'll see you guys in the morning. We'll bring the Jeep up into the driveway, and we'll get this bad boy put on. Alrighty now. It's been plenty long since we've had a wrenching video on Willie here. Happy he can make an appearance. Pretty cold this morning. Pretty windy, too. That's the dog over there digging in the leaves. She's doing wiggles. Oh, she found a stick. She's pretty proud of herself, too. Good girl. If you've never had the pleasure of having a shop dog, it's just a dog that's always around while you're working on your rusty, crusty old stuff. Highly recommend you go give it a try. Gives you someone to talk to, ask the important questions like, does this look too hooped to use again? And dog being man's best friend, it's always gonna say, nah, got a few more miles out of that one. Oh boy, it's time for me to buy an impact gun. Try to steal Eric's whenever I can, but that ain't right. Alrighty, now here is the offending Caliper. Crazy thing is, I think I ran it so many times, I've been moving it around the driveway, that it's broken free. I can tell you right now, we are reusing this rotor because that's just where we're at today. So step one, I'm gonna take some custom tool here. These are vice grips that have some fuel line on them. We're going to use that to pinch off the old brake line so we don't lose all of our brake pressure. Probably got to go a little tighter than that. Beauty here is it'll be a little easier to bleed it, especially since I'm basically alone out here. So I don't know how I'd bleed it without this. There we go. That should do her, or maybe not. I don't know. 14 mil to get the banjo off. Oh, I guess I should get a bucket. Oh, as though the driveway's not already tie-dyed with every fluid known to man. Alright, that's all sorted. And you can see by the fact that it's not leaking all over the place. Well, I don't know if you can see, but you can take my word for it, that our vice grips are working. So we'll put them off to the side. Let's get you guys a better angle. All right. Look how good those brake pads are. They're like brand new in there. Let's get this on the bench. See if we can identify if it's really truly stuck. I believe it is. Huh. Oh, it broke free. But you see it's like, yeah, this one is definitely all frozen up. Now, this could even be a candidate for rebuilding. Like what we did earlier on this guy over here. Get it freed up, get the piston out, get it cleaned up. We're definitely going to use these brake pads. It's not out of the realm of possibility that this could still be saved. Let's get this out of the way. Yeah, you can see the grease in there is basically all dried up. I don't know if you can see. It's all dried up and muddy and gunky, so I wasn't doing anybody any favors there. Let's just see if we can get it to move at all without spraying ourselves in the face with brake fluid. Nope. That's brake fluid in the mouth. Very, very old, gross brake fluid in the mouth. Delightful. All right, try again. Oh, forget it. One more time. All right, nope. So as you can see, this one's totally frozen up. Could you likely get it to a point where it's usable again? Sure, of course you could. And I might put it on the shelf and when I have time, try to work on it. But you saw how easily this one moved. This one doesn't want to move at all. Put that in there. Clean this up. I still have very old, gross brake fluid in my mouth, which I'm not super thrilled about. I don't mind telling you. Okay, we'll get this in like that. This side in. Like that. This thing. Let's try this one. I think this is the one that was actually on this caliper. I usually end up bending them. Yeah, still does the same trick, same job, whatever. What that does is put tension on the bracket in the actual caliper, so you don't get them rattling down the road. Let's go put this on the heap, be done with it. I want to drive this thing to work this week. All right, a couple hints for installing brake calipers. First, and everybody should know this, you want to make sure you're greasing the area where your pads ride on, especially if you're installing rusty, crusty, old junkyard brake lines like I just did. Wire brush them down. We have another video about how to do brakes properly. I'll link a card. If it's a fresh caliper or one like this where we squeezed all the juice out, you're going to want to just top it off beforehand. It's going to cut down on the amount of time it takes to bleed it. Oh, and another thing, the bleeder valve, you always want it on top. If you go ahead and you install it with the bleeder valve below the fill port, i.e. on the wrong side, you're never going to be able to bleed your brakes. The air will not be able to escape. So make sure of that. Let's get this guy on there. Alrighty, that seems pretty good. Shoot down. This. Make sure you spray the camera with brake clean always. It's real good for you, you know. There we go. That'll be fine. Alright, let's get this buttoned up and take a test drive. Come on, Will, let's get in the Jeep. Oh yeah, you can tell. Not been driven in quite a while. Quite the accumulation of leaves and whatnot. Seat's all dirty. Poor Willie. But we didn't get any mold this summer. People ask me all the time if my mold fix worked. Yeah, man, this Jeep's fine. Contact. There it is. All right. Pump up the brakes a little bit. Oh, we got an ABS light on. Screw it, who cares? Was that always there? I can't remember. That's how long it's been since I drive this thing. I don't even remember what lights are on. Yeah, we got brakes. test them out. All right, let's back down my nightmare of a driveway. Keep an eye out, Wiggles. Keep an eye out. Oh man, do I love this Jeep. The throttle response is incredible in this Jeep. It's got the larger throttle body. It has the 4-port injectors. It's got a tune actually. I've got the Super Tech, what is it, Super Tech chip? Super Chip Tech something or another. The horsepower tune on it. It's got a bigger opened up cold air intake. What else is done to this thing? I don't know. It's not like it's quick. It doesn't have a ton of power or anything. The throttle response is just really nice, which makes it super fun to drive. Yeah, this brake pedal actually feels pretty good. Oh yeah, man, it feels pretty good on the road. It's still been so long since I drove this thing. So, that's all there is to it. That's how you rebuild a caliper, put it on the Jeep. Gave you a few little tips and tricks in there. If you liked what we did there, by all means, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Consider checking us out on Etsy and what is it, Teespring, maybe even Patreon. I guess I'll close the video out here. Wiggles, you got anything else to add? No? Nothing else to add, baby? All right. Thanks for watching. See you next time. It is literally always something with this Jeep. I just pulled in the driveway from that test drive. I get out and I notice this. I'm like, is that water? Nope, not water. What could it be? Oh. Literally blew a brake line on the test drive from fixing the seized caliper. Oh my God! Why? So yeah, stay tuned. We'll be replacing brake lines on this rusty old hooer soon. My God, Willie, such a jerk. I was gonna drive it today. I was gonna drive it to work all week. I'm sorry. I love you. I love you. Even though by all accounts you hate me. I don't. What a stupid hobby.